Hey there guys, I've been wanting to make a game for a while now. The problem is, games can take teams of game developers months or even years to make, and although I do have a team, the only member of it is me. So the challenge is to make a game that not only can I finish, but that the final result won't be trash. Or well, at least not that trash. Let's get started. Started drawing out exactly what I wanted my game to be. It could be a top-down 2D shooter, some Mario-style platformer, maybe a racing game, but nope. It was going to be about a bear who wants to get home to its family and your job is to help it get there. To its grave. This is the paper where I wrote down the idea. Hold down on the screen with your finger to make a tree grow. When you feel it's the right length to cross the gap, let go. The tree will fall down. If you miss, the bear dies. If you overshoot, the bear dies. It has to be exactly the right length to continue. After this, the cycle repeats and a point will be added to your score. Knowing exactly what I wanted, it was time to, as Mr. Incredible would say, it's showtime. I used Unity Game Engine to create this game because I'm familiar with the layout. Mostly because it's the only thing I know how to use. Steps. I started creating the tree growing system. While your finger is on the screen, the tree grows. As soon as you let go, the tree stops growing, a force is applied to it, and it falls to the right. I had a little bit of trouble getting the tree to grow since Unity scales objects from the center, and I wanted it to scale the tree from just one side. I ended up just distorting the whole tree and almost giving up. I hate you linear transformations. Anyway, I finally got it to work. The next step was to add platforms and decide if the bear lives or dies, aka check for undershooting, overshooting, or just right shooting. I did this by adding colliders to the tree and platforms, so that they wouldn't just go through each other and actually interacted. I then added 3 conditions. 1. If the tree didn't touch platform 2 and it formed an angle greater than 90 degrees with respect to its original position, the player had undershot the tree and the bear dies. 2. If the tree touches platform 2 but its length is greater than the greatest distance between platform 1 and platform 2, then the player had overshot the tree and you guessed it, the bear dies. And finally, 3. If the tree touches platform 2 and its length is greater than the shortest distance between platform 1 and 2, but smaller than the greatest distance between platform 1 and 2, the bear gets to see another day and you get 1 point added to your score. To indicate what I just told you, I put a good and bad sign to indicate if the player had passed the level. I then had to create the platform spawning system. So, to give the illusion of a never-ending game, each time the player passes a level, a new platform would spawn at a random distance and the old one would die. This was pretty easy. Just spawn the new platform at the same Y and X coordinates plus a random X coordinate. This next part was by far the part that almost made me lose my hair. I struggled with this a lot. I think struggle is an understatement. It was torture. The part I'm talking about is the camera adjustment system. When a new platform is spawned, the camera has to move to the center of both platforms. Then they are either in frame with the camera, outside of the camera's frame, or 2 within the camera's frame. To fix this, you have to adjust the camera, either shrinking or expanding it. To do this, you have to know the distance between the platforms, to know how far you have to move the camera, and if you have to shrink or expand it. You also have to know how much distortion is created when adjusting the size of the camera, so that you can adjust the Y position of the camera so that the platforms are flush with the camera's floor. Doing all these calculations is tough, but you know what makes them tougher? Unity's goddamn rounding system. When you want to move an object smoothly from point A to point B, it is as easy as indicating the starting point A and the arriving point B. Unity will move the object from point A to point B. The problem is, Unity will never move your object to point B. Let me explain. If you want your object to move from 0 to 5, Unity will start moving it, but it will never arrive at 5. It will get very close, 4.9, 4.99, 4.9999999, but never 5. This causes problems because I programmed it to spawn the next platform when the camera had reached its exact position. With this system, it will never arrive at its position, thus the new platform will never spawn. A way to fix this is to round the platform's position to the nearest whole number. But you have to be careful because it could round up either to the highest or lowest near whole number. Also, rounding can cause the movement to be harsh at the end. Did I mention that I have to take this into account for the camera scaling as well? I spent lots of time on this and it was honestly the hardest part of this project. But I managed to get the camera's adjustment system working. From this point on, I became an artist. What was left was to make the game's art, make it pretty. I had a lot of fun doing this. It was kind of like a reward for the pain I had gone through previously. I had an initial design for the platforms and the background, but I ended up throwing it out the window and decided for a simpler style. Failing is not always bad. Once I had all the art ready, it was just a matter of putting it into the game. The final part was just making all the buttons and verifying that they were working properly. I also put in some sounds for when the bamboo hits the floor, failing and passing levels, and button clicks. I also put ads in the game so that you can revive the bear and keep going if you fail. If I don't put ads in my game, I will starve to death. And that's it guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you want to check out the game I made, you can look it up on the Play Store as Climby Bear. And no, it's not on the Apple Store. Sadly, I cannot afford the $100 fee to publish my game on the Apple Store. If you wish to support me, you can subscribe, like, and comment on the video. I'll see you next time guys. Remember, don't forget to do your homework.